All right, I'm just doing a little coding. Want to do a little check-in and show you guys some stuff. So first off, this is the app so far. This is all the code back here. Basically, I've got it where you can type in some user input, hit save, and it will save it to my database. I sure hope there aren't like important legal things on that page. But yeah, so yesterday I was working on this and I was trying to get CloudKit to work, and I literally spent like 5 hours trying to get this thing functional, and I kept getting this like crazy error. I did like tons of research online, and that freaking sucked. I was super tempted to like come home, just like bitch and moan, watch some TV. And then this morning I wanted to like wake up and like not do anything, but I hopped on, I found a solution, and it's working now, all a part of the process. And I thought about, while I was just working, I thought about a thought process that I think is important to keep in mind. While I was working on this app, I kept thinking of all these things that I need to do to make it compare to other apps that are on the App Store, to make it competitive. And I think it's important to realize when you're trying to build an online business and you're starting from, square one, from zero, you don't have the kind of capabilities all these other people have to build these massive apps. There's some people I watch on YouTube, and it's like they're talking about their apps, and they're posting them, and these apps look amazing, and they've got this great user interface, and they have like all these things that you can do, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't even know how to do any of that. I'm struggling just to like get this little like June 15th to be right up there, and a bunch of stuff like that. I'm trying to like make it so this thing, as I type, doesn't scroll to the side, but instead will like drop down and like expand vertically instead of horizontally. And it's like other people crank that shit out in like 10 minutes. And you got to remember, when you're getting started, you're just trying to develop the base skills. Another thing I was thinking is all the different ways I want to be able to store the user reflections. And look, the reality is that the app I'm about to make, that I'm probably going to spend a month making, is going to be shit, and it's not going to look great. But the goal is not to create an app that's going to make me a bunch of money on the App Store, and it's going to be all fancy and look good and have all this deep functionality. The app that I'm making just needs to teach me the skill that I want to learn, which is how to implement LLMs into an iOS app. If I can come away from this with a good understanding of how to do that, because that's another high value skill I can add to my repertoire. If I can come away from this with that skill, then I would call that app a success. It's also something to just have on the App Store, something to put on my resume. So yeah, important to kind of keep that in mind. I think the same thing happens with YouTube as well. Is like I see all of these like relatively new YouTubers sometimes, and it's like they've got all these cool graphics, they've got great thumbnails, they've got all this content, they've got all these like followers, and I'm like, oh my god, like I don't even know, like they've got different series. I'm just kind of sitting here, I just yell at a phone and like fucking throw it on YouTube, put the same damn templated thumbnail on top of fucking everything. I don't do any graphics, I don't put titles in my videos, none of that shit. And I'm sitting here like, oh my god, like how am I gonna fucking like compare to what these guys are pumping out? But again, it's like, dude, I'm making use of my time. I'm throwing shit on YouTube. That's good enough. I can deal with all that fancy stuff later. And then a lot of times what I've started to realize is like, there's these guys, Liam Otley I was talking about, Sean Allen. These two guys, I was like, wow, like these guys, they're killing it already, like so fast. And then I came to find out it's like they started like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's a slow process. And I love what Alex Ramosi says. He says a lot of people miss out on the big money because they're trying to get the quick money. And that's like, dude, that is a banger of a quote, because the idea, I mean, it's a pretty obvious idea. It's like, look, if you're trying to just make all that money hella fast, you're going to chase opportunities that are fleeting, And like I said, you're gonna, like, with developing this app, if I'm trying to make the big money, or if I'm trying to make quick money, I'm gonna miss out on the big money, because the big money is gonna come from developing the skill over a long period of time, taking it slow, building up that online portfolio, getting better and better. If I go for quick money, I'm like, I gotta make this app like super good. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna become a millionaire after I make this app. It's gonna be crazy. Um, that quick money, I'm not even gonna probably get that quick money. I'm gonna miss out on the big money because I'm trying to get the quick money, and I'm gonna overexert myself on this app, and eventually I'm just never gonna release it because it's gonna grow in scope. I'm gonna try to implement things that I can't or that I don't have to. Um, and yeah, so that's that. Anyway, the kind of the resulting decision that came out of this thought was, originally I was going to have all of these reflections based on date, and then I was going to have, when you log into your app, you have your reflection screen based on the date, and at the end of the day, it pumps that into your iCloud account, and then a new reflection option pops up. And that's like programmatically, that's pretty complicated to do. And it's something I really do want to do, but I decided, screw that. I'm just going to give the user an option to put in a title, and then they put in their reflection, and then they hit save, and that's it. It just, and then it pumps that into the iCloud database, and then it clears the screen, and then a new one pops up, and it's like, hey, you know what? That'll suffice, I think.